Welcome back to the channel where we spotlight Black excellence in film and TV so you don't have to miss some great Black-led roles. Let's get into it. So, a trigger warning before we begin. Some people may find these hard to watch. Some of these movies do have their moments. A lot of these movies can be very, very brutal and a tough watch. So, be warned. Starting off our list is The Last King of Scotland. This is probably my personal favorite on this list. I recently discovered this film and holy what a ride. Now, this tells the story from the perspective of a Dr. Nicholas Garrigan, played by James McAvoy, who does a great job. But Forrest Whitaker in this movie, amazing. So the movie follows a Scottish doctor on a medical mission in Uganda during a period of regime change. Dr. Nicholas then finds himself becoming the personal physician and close confidant of a dictator, Idi Amin, played by Forrest. You can imagine it starts off relatively great, the relationship between the two of them, brothers they never knew they had, before devolving into something completely different. If you've never heard of this or seen this, or you have seen it, go see it again, go see it for the first time. Forrest Whitaker does such an amazing job with this. His character is strange, his character is charismatic, his character is funny. It's kind of all these things I always expect a dictator to be like. Like, there's no way they can get to that level of power by being a complete POS, but rather through their skills with words, their ability to win the hearts of many, their charm, before making like a full-on 180-degree turn into what they really are. But by then, it's too late to stop them. The doctor's a bit of a womanizer as well. He's got his own character flaws. He's a very interesting, eccentric character too. So the dynamic between these two people make for a very interesting movie. This is based on the real Idi Amin, who was the third president of Uganda from 1971 to 1979 and ran a brutal regime. But the doctor wasn't real to my understanding, so take that for what you will. A final note for this is I really love the camera work here. I don't know if it's intentional or maybe it was just trying to save on time or just an early 2000s thing. You know, maybe most films were like this and I didn't realize it, but I don't think so. It was kind of like I was watching a documentary, but I know it's not a documentary. And in some of the shaky camera work, you know, certain moments where they have like these punch-in zooms, all of it felt like it was part of the story, so I'm gonna say it's intentional. Now, next we have the well-known classic Hotel Rwanda, based on the genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda, which occurred during the spring of 1994. This follows Hutu Paul Rusesabagina, who manages the Hotel des Mille Collines and lives a happy life with his Tutsi wife and their 3 children. Outright calls for ethnic cleansing can be heard on the radio stations, but it isn't until the assassination of a top political official that things really take a turn for the worse. The Hutus launch a military campaign to eradicate all the Tutsis once and for all. Paul allows those fleeing from the fighting to take refuge in his hotel, but as his support and supplies dwindle, Paul must struggle alone to protect the Tutsi refugees. This stars Don Shedley and Sophia Okonido. Joaquin Phoenix, he makes an appearance. He's not really, I would say, a big star in this, but I do like him and he does show up, though it's not a flattering appearance. Now, for those of you that don't know, as great as this movie is, there are some controversies surrounding the legitimacy of the events that took place. Some people claim the hotel manager attempted to kick them out, others saying the UN played a way more vital role than it shows in the movie. Take all of that with a grain of salt. I mean, this is Hollywood. When you go to watch these movies, they're going to exaggerate some bits to sell a story. Exhibit A, Argo. All that being said, it's still a fantastic movie and the events that it's talking about definitely did happen, so it's worth checking out. Next, we've got Beasts of No Nation. Beasts of No Nation tackles some pretty heavy stuff as it depicts child soldiers in Africa. A civil war rages in an unknown African country, and a warlord played by Idris Elba trains a young orphan played by Abraham Attah to join his group of guerrilla soldiers. I don't want to give any more than that because the rest of it is the experience of war and the guerrilla warfare from the perspective of a child. It's wild, it's sad, it's something I wasn't expecting, especially with Idris Elba to be in it at all, but he does a fantastic job. Same thing with the little boy who plays the orphan Ago. The Beasts of No Nation, and ironically, another movie called Beasts of the Southern Wilds Two movies with child actors who are playing roles that feel like they should be above them in terms of emotional expression and capability, but both films are great and these young actors really crush it. If you're a fan of Idris Elba and you're interested in the war genre, go ahead and check this film out. One of the things I really like is with Idris, he doesn't only play good guys, he also plays bad guys, and in this film you'll really get to find out which character he really is. Devotion. Now, I really liked this movie. It's got some nice aerial shots, great characters, and Jonathan Major, who for some reason I really want to see do well. I don't know why. I think he's stupid. The way he handled the whole situation with his ex, the interview he did after, even stupider, but I want to see him do well. He does have a new movie that he's coming out with, or a new role he's starring in, a supernatural revenge thriller called Merciless. We'll talk more about that in another video. But Devotion, based on a true story of the US Navy's first black pilot, Jesse Brown, and his wingman, Tom Hudner. The film closely follows their experiences during the Korean War as they help to turn the tide in probably the most brutal battle in Korean War. Their heroic sacrifices ultimately make them the Navy's most celebrated wingmen. If you're like me and you like war movies, aerial combat specifically, love that, and you want to see this with a black lead, Devotion is where you want to be. And finally, we have Red Tail, another Flyboy movie. Now, this one didn't do as well in the eyes of critics and audience members as Devotion. And to be fair, when I first watched this movie, I didn't like it. Now, the second time watching this movie, I still didn't like it, but it was better. Not nearly as bad as I thought when I originally saw it, but better. So during World War II, the Civil Aeronautic Authority selected 13 black cadets to become part of an experimental program at the Tuskegee Institute in Alabama. The program aims at training colored personnel to become fighter pilots for the Army. And though I couldn't really find anything that directly said this, seeing how this came before Devotion war-wise, that the success of the Red Tails would have helped pave the way for Jesse Brown's ascension, giving Jesse's skills a better chance to shine. This film stars a whole bunch of people I'm gonna throw on screen here, one of them being Neo, and he probably is the most annoying character ever made. I hope whoever this character is based on wasn't really like this. However, I think most of the characters are all fictional, even though the events are real. The film has some great dogfighting moments, more battles than Devotion, I want to say, and like most other things except for Beasts of No Nation, I believe, is based on a true story. I wouldn't say this is a great movie, but if you really like Devotion and want to see something else related to aerial combat and in a way a continuation on black aerial contribution, then you might as well check out Red Tail. There are some moments where the characters feel too campy for me, the dialogue is weird, and at times I'm just kind of thrown off. I think the overall story is fine, but could be way better. One subplot, I really didn't understand how it really developed, to be honest, but the characters and their lines are really what irritated me, but hopefully that's a non-issue for you and you can enjoy it because ultimately it's got some good moments and the action I really enjoyed. So now Mulumba. So this is a honorable mention, and the reason I'm putting it here is because I don't know if it really goes alongside the other movies. I mean, it does. It is war and politics, but I think it's mainly here because it's a co-production of France, Germany, Belgium, and Haiti, filmed in French. So if you're gonna watch it, you gotta watch it in subtitles. And for me, it felt a little disjointed at times. Things were moving really fast, but a great film overall. It's a political thriller which tells the story of legendary African leader Patrice Emery Mulumba. Mulumba rose rapidly to the office of Prime Minister when Belgium conceded the Congo's independence in June 1960. He would last 2 months in office. And so that sounds interesting to you. If that last line really got your ears perking up, this might be the film to check out. It's actually free on YouTube right now, and the link in the description will take you right to it. Alright guys, that's it for today. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think about the movies I just mentioned. Have you seen them? Do you love them? Do you hate them? And come back for more.